Hi everyone. Today we are obviously here to discuss Love Island, specifically are Nic and Olandria faking their romance in order to potentially win $100,000? Because I have seen this topic of conversation literally everywhere online, especially after these past two episodes of Love Island that just premiered. And I need to discuss it because I have a lot of thoughts. I have so many thoughts. But before we get into it, I just want to apologize because I did say I would be going live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. However, I totally forgot about the holiday weekend and I was traveling all weekend, so I was unable to go live. But I am back today, Tuesday. I'm going to be back tomorrow and I'll be back Friday. So we'll get back on that Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. Also, I just wanted to shout out my podcast, The Influencer Effect. I'll link it down below. I interview a bunch of influencers about their life, how they are successful on social media, how they were able to grow on social media, stuff like that. And I feel like everyone who's watching this kind of video would also love the podcast. So I just want to do like a little shameless self-promotion. I'm also really hoping to get a Love Island cast member on the podcast. That would be crazy. That is the dream. So we'll see if that happens after the season has wrapped. But for now, we are here to discuss Nic and Olandria, which has been a common topic of conversation throughout this entire season of Love Island USA. I don't know why. I don't know who kind of started this. Actually, I think Ariana Madix kind of started this. There's a clip from, I think it was the second Love Island USA After Sun, where Ariana is asked if there's a couple that hasn't really explored things yet that she wants to start exploring. And she said Nic and Olandria because on that first day during the blindfolded kissing challenge, Nic kissed Olandria. And I still don't know if Olandria knows that it was Nic who kissed her, if that makes sense. But yeah, so let's talk about Nic and Olandria and if they are just faking it for $100,000 or if they actually like each other. Okay, here are my thoughts. Now, obviously, Sierra has left the villa, rightfully so. We know why Sierra has left the villa. We don't have to, go into the details of that, but Sierra is gone. And here's the thing. Nic had just closed things off with Sierra. I think it had been a matter of like 2 days that Nic and Sierra were fully closed off. Also, the only fully closed off couple on this season of Love Island USA so far, which is wild because if you are a Love Island USA fan and if you have seen this show in the past, you know that usually by this point, with less than a week to go, a lot of couples have closed things off, but it was only Nic and Sierra, and now it's no one because Sierra's gone. But Sierra is gone for good reason, and literally for about 2 seconds, Nic is upset about it. He's like, yeah, we had just closed things off. She was my strongest connection. Like, no shit, she was your strongest connection. Can I swear? Like, no kidding, she was your strongest connection. Like, you guys were together from the beginning and you had closed things off. Like, you didn't have other connections besides Olandria during Casa, and you had both decided that it was more friendship vibes. So, like, make it make sense. I don't know. So basically, he's like so sad about it for a total of probably 30 seconds. And then it cuts to him pulling Olandria for a chat. And they're giggling, they're cracking jokes, they're having a grand old time. And I'm like, I can't lie, I do think they're cute together, but there must have been something we didn't see. Because the switch up from Nic learning that his strongest connection in the villa, the girl he was closed off with, is no longer in the villa, to then going and pulling Olandria for a chat in a matter of minutes just doesn't make any sense. So I'm thinking we missed some sort of passage of time, because obviously they're not going to show us how the Islanders react to Sierra leaving. That's just, I was not expecting them to show us that, and they didn't show us that. Do I wish we could have seen that? Yes, but like obviously because of the circumstances, we didn't see how Sierra ended up leaving the villa and how the other Islanders reacted to it. So basically, Nic's upset, and then he's not upset because he pulls Olandria for a chat, and they're giggling. He's laughing about how she was excited that Taylor was in the bottom for like America's vote and all those challenges and stuff like that. They're cracking jokes. Also, what I want to know is, how does Taylor feel about Nic and Olandria? Because isn't Taylor supposed to be one of Nick's closest friends? Question mark. I don't know. We haven't seen much interaction between Nic and Taylor in the past couple of episodes, and it has me wondering just like if there was some sort of issue with Nic exploring Olandria. I mean, there shouldn't be, because Taylor is fully with Clark now, but I'm just wondering what that dynamic is like. That's just like super confusing to me. But anyways, sorry, just adjusting my camera. Anyways, so Nic and Olandria are exploring things, and I think Nic really likes Olandria. That's what I think. I think Nic has had a crush on Olandria since day one. And like I said at the beginning of this video, we see that in that first challenge, I'm sure most of you have forgotten that Nic kisses Olandria as someone he's interested in building a connection with. And nothing ever came of it until Casa. And Nic told Olandria she was the most beautiful girl that like he had ever seen, something along those lines. So I do think that Nic has feelings for Olandria. Now, does Olandria have feelings for Nic? I'm not sure. And I'm not sure for a couple of reasons. Reason number one, if Olandria was interested in Nic at any point throughout the show, I feel like they would have explored something. I feel like there would have been more exploration besides what happened at Casa, where they were kind of forced into the situation. Nic, I guess, could have also, pulled Olandria for more chats, but even, I don't know, they both were with other people. I don't know. That, I guess, isn't really, like, I guess Olandria has said that she's just like a one person at a time sort of thing. So I guess that could excuse why Olandria never really explored a connection with Nic if she was interested. But also, after their like makeout sesh that happened during Casa Amor, Olandria was the one to say, I wasn't vibing with it. It was more friendship vibes. Like, we should stick to our original connections. And Nic was like, yeah, I'm on board. Like, what was Nic supposed to say? Even if he didn't feel that way, obviously he was going to be like, yeah, I'm on board, because he wasn't, I feel like he wasn't going to be like, oh no, I really want to be with you. Like, he was probably like, cool, I'll be with Sierra. Like, here's the thing, and I feel bad saying this, but I don't think Nic ever really liked Sierra that much. I think he kind of floated with her and she was really into him. And then by the time Nic realized, like, oh, maybe I'm not so into this girl, it was the last week of Love Island. And Nic was like, all right, I guess I'm going to close things off with Sierra. They even had that conversation where they were like, let's define what closed off means in the real world. And Nic was like, so just so we're clear, we're not boyfriend and girlfriend, and we're actually not closed off in the real world. We're just closed off on Love Island. And I'm like, what's the point of being closed off then? Like, the whole conversation didn't really make any sense. And it kind of made me think, is Nic actually interested in Sierra, or is he interested in staying on the show? I think it's the latter. So Nic exploring Olandria, I do think that Nic is interested in Olandria. Sorry, I'm talking in circles a little bit. To get back to my point, I don't think Olandria is that interested in Nic. Unfortunately, she said her type is like a Southern cowboy. Like, that is so not Nic. And like, obviously you can date people outside of your type, but that is just so polar opposite of Nic that I'm just like, Olandria girl, do you really like him, or do you just want to stay on the show? And either way, I guess it doesn't matter, because also, spoiler alert, or like semi-spoiler alert, because I don't know how true this is, but I don't know if you guys heard, they're going to have families actually visit in Fiji which they've done on Love Island UK, but I don't believe they've done on Love Island USA. They've only had video chats on Love Island USA. They haven't actually had the families come. Well, they're having the families come this time for season 7, which doesn't make any sense because there's really no strong connections. But anyway, they're having the families come, and people saw Nic's family getting on a plane, which means that Nic and Olandria are probably safe in tonight's, elimination, because we do know that a couple is going to be dumped from the villa on tonight's episode of Love Island USA. I personally think Taylor and Clark are probably the couple that's going to be dumped on tonight's episode. I think that because just based off of how America votes, and we saw this in the previous episodes, people aren't fans of switch ups. People like when people stay loyal to the person that they're coupled up with. Taylor didn't do that, which I honestly think is fine. Like, if you find a connection during Casa, that's what you're supposed to do. And then you stick with that connection and you go to the end. And that's literally what Taylor did. He found a stronger connection in Casa and then, was like, okay, I like this girl more, and he's sticking with her to the end. But America and just like voters in general across all seasons of Love Island don't like the switch up unless it was like kind of warranted, unless the other person did something wrong. And like, obviously Olandria didn't do anything wrong. Taylor just had a stronger connection with Clark. But either way, I do think that Taylor and Clark are most likely going to go home tonight, just based off of how America is going to vote. And if then it's left up for the Islanders to decide who's going to go home, I think it's going to be between Taylor and Clark and Iris and Pepe. And oh my goodness, I'm going to be heartbroken if Iris and Pepe go home. I know they're such a new couple and they both had like strong connections before their strong connections were dumped from the villa. But I love Iris and Clark. I just love them individually. Like, not Iris and Clark, Iris and Pepe. I love Iris and Pepe, and I've loved them individually. I feel like Iris is just such a girl's girl. I've seen videos of her friends who like live with her. She has like a couple of roommates who have been posting on social media. She just seems like a nice person, and every person who's like described her, who knows her from outside of the show, has said she's just a sweetheart. And I can kind of see that. And it's also probably why Iris doesn't get that much screen time, because she's not causing too much drama. So obviously they show the drama on the show. But I don't know. I love Iris and I love Pepe. And you could tell Pepe just really wasn't feeling it with Grayson. And I do feel bad for Grayson, but like, I mean, if you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. So it makes sense. So I don't know. I just don't want Iris and Pepe to leave, because I actually do really think they're cute together. I did think that Pepe and Hannah were cute together, but also that was just like short-lived. And like Pepe and Iris have like built this strong friendship throughout their time in the villa together. They entered together as bombshells. So they've been in the villa together this entire time, literally since they entered during that challenge to now. So they have a strong friendship, and maybe they can like build it into something more. It looks like that's what they're doing now, and I personally am really enjoying it. So I really hope Iris and Pepe don't go home. But it's definitely not going to be Amaya, and it's definitely not going to be Huda, like any of those couples, like those people and their couples. Like, people are just such fans of them, and like I am too, don't get me wrong. I'm a huge Amaya fan, and Huda has definitely grown on me throughout the season. But like, they just have such strong fan bases that it's like, okay, well, they got the votes to be safe. So it kind of seems like it's going to be between Taylor and Clark, Iris and Pepe, and honestly, Shelly and Ace. I don't see Shelly and Ace getting that many votes. I could be wrong, but I think it would either be Shelly and Ace or Nic and Olandria in the bottom. And because people saw Nic's family going to Fiji, I don't think they're in the bottom, because I do think they would have been voted off if they were in the bottom. But maybe not, because they do have such strong friendships on Love Island, and it has kind of become Friendship Island, which like people complain about it being Friendship Island and people voting for their friends instead of like actually for people who are like doing Love Island, right? Which like they definitely did to Hannah and they definitely did to Jeremiah. That pisses me off. Like the Hannah and Jeremiah situation, that really pissed me off. But I think it's okay to like make friends on the show. Like I don't think that should be, controversial, but I also do think the main purpose of the show should be to find love. But yeah, I am actually really sad that the show is ending. Well, first of all, because it's like literally my job to report on it for you guys who don't know or haven't like found me through TikTok or Instagram. That's where I'm kind of have my biggest platforms, TikTok and Instagram. And I post a bunch of short form content about Love Island and about pop culture in general. I actually just started Bachelor in Paradise. I've been a Bachelor Nation fan for years. Not sure how I feel about this season of Bachelor in Paradise, but I will be following it and I will be discussing it on my lives. So if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe because I feel like it like low-key is going to be really good and kind of similar to Love Island. So even if you aren't watching or weren't planning on watching, I would if you're interested in Love Island because I think it's going to have similar vibes, if I'm not mistaken. And then I'm also probably going to watch Big Brother this season. I haven't watched Big Brother in years, but you guys, I'm like actually sad. I'm like, next week, what am I going to do? I'm going to have nothing to watch. And like Big Brother's on, I believe, 3 times a week. So at least I'll have that if I start Big Brother. I'm like, I don't even want to watch regular TV. I just want to watch reality TV. I'll obviously watch The Summer I Turned Pretty, but like otherwise, I just want to watch reality TV, guys. I don't want to watch anything else. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I just think that Love Island, no matter how good or bad the season is a great show to follow. And it's even more fun when you're following it live and like everyone on social media is as well. Like it's just great. It's just it's like a community of people watching this show together. I mean, it is. It sounds silly, but it like really is. And I just love it so much. It's so fun. I started my account, like my TikTok and Instagram accounts, by posting about like pop culture and like, I mean, I still do that. I'm posting that like my first viral video was about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce at the Super Bowl after party. Oh, hi. I just got a chat. Hi. And then I kind of continued on that pop culture trajectory and ended up posting a lot about reality TV, which is just so organic for me because I've loved reality TV since I was a little kid. Like my mom got me into it and I'm just such a fan of just reality TV. And the fact that I've been able to build a career off of it has been so amazing. But anyways, I'm rambling. Back to Love Island. I want you guys to comment who you think's gonna win the whole season because honestly, I feel like last season it was kind of obvious who like the final 3 were gonna be. I mean, we obviously knew it was gonna be PPG and their men. It is not obvious at all this season. I think Amaya and Brian could win. I wouldn't be surprised if Huda and Chris won. Like Huda has had such a redemption arc and she has such a strong following on social media. Like she has some ride or die fans. So I wouldn't be surprised if Huda won. I'm trying to think if there's people are saying Shelly and Ace because they're the couple who's like been the longest lasting, I guess, the longest lasting couple, but like they're still having issues and they still haven't officially closed things off. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Plus, there were all those rumors that they were like playing the game that Ace was talking about how he like studied Love Island to his friends allegedly and was saying like, oh, I know how I'm going to win this thing. And because like Shelly and Ace knew each other on the outside. And then there are people theorizing that they know each other, like that they know each other more than they're letting on. And that they didn't just meet outside a club, that they actually have been dating for months, which is crazy if it's true. I don't think it's true. I do think they probably had like a social media relationship, probably DM'd quite a bit back and forth, but I don't know if they've actually like gone on a date. I would be shocked if they had, but I guess we'll really never know. I'm sure they'll address it once they leave the villa because those rumors have been all over the place. They've kind of died down, but I mean, people still have that in the back of their head, which is one of the reasons I think Shelley and Ace won't win, just because there's been that controversy surrounding their relationship. So I guess we'll just have to see. Honestly, everyone's upset with this season because we really did get real couples out of last season, that like those final three are still together. And I heard someone be like, those three, like PPG and their men, are probably all going to get married. And like, I honestly agree. Like, I feel like those are really strong couples. And the fact that they're all still together a year later makes a ton of sense. Are any of the couples from this season still going to be together in a year? Probably not. I would be shocked. And if they are, like, kudos to them. Like, really kudos to them. Watch it be Iris and Pepe. Watch it be Iris and Pepe. I think Iris and Pepe might be two of the breakout stars from this season, which I don't think a lot of people saw coming. But I can see that happening. I can see Iris and Pepe being, you know, pretty popular on social media after the season ends. They're just both like really, or seem to be really genuinely good people. I obviously don't know them in real life, but from watching the show, they both just seem like great people. And obviously Amaya is the people's princess this season. Amaya needs to do like 1,000 brand deals when she leaves the villa, and I'm sure she will. And she needs to do all those collaborations. Like, I saw Leah is still like, she's coming out with a perfume. She came out with a perfume today. Like, Leah is killing it. And I think that's what we're going to see from Amaya this season as well. So that will be so fun to watch. And I'm so excited to like cover how everyone acts once they leave the villa, because that's always really interesting. When people first get their phones back, it's kind of crazy. Like, I wonder how Nic and Olandria are going to feel when they find out like there's been an entire fan base like rooting for the two of them to be together this entire time, even when they were with other people. I mean, their families are probably going to tell them that. Nic's family loves Olandria. They wanted them to be together so bad. They literally celebrated when they got together. They got a cake of the two of them, which is just crazy. They love Olandria. I mean, Olandria is great. It's just crazy that he was in a couple with a whole other person for pretty much the entire show, and his family this whole time has been rooting for him to be with Olandria. So that's a bit wild. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really enjoy doing these, and I will see you guys tomorrow to recap tonight's episode of Love Island USA and anything else crazy that happens in the pop culture world.